Hey everyone, and welcome to Chai with Mai. Alright, so I would like to begin with telling you a story that just happened to me, because I think it describes my personality wrongly. Anyway, as you probably know, I'm kind of the queen of aestheticness, and my goal in life is to make everything AAAP, as aesthetic as possible. My favorite food in the entire world, like, I almost like them as much as I like tea, is white peaches. But it can't just be any white peach. It needs to be like a perfectly ripe, juicy, very sweet, very pink inside white peach. And so my mom got these mini ones, and I tried to cut them up like I always do, all aesthetic, but they would not get off of the pit. So it turned out like this. But I'm eating them anyway. So there you go. They're kind of sour. If you see me chomping, it's because I'm eating a piece of peach that's too big for me to fit in my mouth. Anyway, so what can we learn from that situation? I think it's that not everything always goes as planned, and let it go, because clearly I can't fix it because I already cut it up into gross pieces and it's not going to cut because the skin is so freaking hard. Okay. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about, where's my phone? Today I wanted to talk about something called making decisions, because I do these Snapchat videos, which I haven't done in a while, but I used to, like a couple months ago, during school, I would just, at night, be all feeling all bad, and then I would make these videos talking about how I fixed a problem in my life, and, teach everyone a lesson from my own life, because my life is full of mistakes, so maybe I can teach people things from them. They're also kind of for me because, like, it makes me feel good, especially, like, to do YouTube. It makes me feel good to, like, record a video of myself, like, talking about a solution to something that I had a rough time with, because it's like, yay, go me, look, I fixed this. So I wanted to talk about something that I'm probably the worst at in the entire world, and that is making decisions, because I don't know, I guess, like, and if you look at, like, symptoms of depression, they say all the time that, like, hard time decision making is, like, one of the symptoms that people have, and it goes along with, like, anxiety and stuff, and that's what I have, so that's probably one of them. But I just worry a lot when it comes to, like, choosing things, so I googled how to make decisions, and here's what Google had to say about it. There's a couple articles on Google, and they all kind of said the exact same thing, and that was to take it step by step and write out a pros and cons list. Okay, here's how I feel about decisions. Decisions come in all shapes and sizes, and people think that there's, like, one way to choose something because they have a rough time with it, and that's not true. Some of the articles just said go with your gut, like, decide what is in your head and, like, what you know you should do, and you got it. But, like, that doesn't work for me in some situations because I don't have a gut. Like, it's crazy. Like, okay, so if I get a role in a huge musical, right? If I auditioned for the musical already, and I get this huge role, and, like, I guess I'm worried about, like, you know, I'm gonna have to move or whatever. It's a giant experience, but my gut's telling me, just move, just do it. I know what my gut's telling me. It's like, I can feel it. But sometimes there's other situations where it's like, I don't know, and I can't choose. So I will tell you about a decision that very recently affected me, and what I can teach myself about it now. So basically, the decision that I had to make was if I was going to change my meds around or not, or if I was going to go off of them or go on new ones, or, like, whatever it was. And I didn't really have an opinion on that until my parents, or one of my moms actually, started talking to me about it and was like, you know, I think you might want to, like, add a new medicine, and, like, what should you do, and, like, here's what I think you should do. And then my other parent was like, I don't know if you're really just saying that because it's your own feeling or if it's someone else's or whatever. So now I had, like, these like two conflicting points of view in my head, and I didn't know what to do. So I was just like, man, I don't know what to do. So sometimes if you have that, and this is something I actually read in an article online, is sometimes you're gonna have a decision where it's like you don't have neither of the choices that you have feel right. And that's actually what happened to me with this. Is one of my choices was I could add a new med. One choice was I could make no change, and I didn't really like either of those choices. I felt like I wanted to make a change, but I didn't know if I really wanted to, and I was just like, neither of them feel right. They both felt right, so I was like, I don't know, like I don't want to take a risk. And sometimes, there's two things that you can do when you come to something like this, where it's like, I don't know what to do. One of them is you can just do one of them and just be like, you know what, I can clearly think in my head, like, I don't know what decision to make. I'm confused about the way I feel. I'm conflicted. I'm just going to choose one and see what happens. Sometimes taking the risky path is the way to go, especially because sometimes when you're making decisions, it's like the two options are like the safe route and the easy route. It's like you're playing life, only it's real life. But so in this case, I guess the safe route was to not add anything and not change anything, and the risky road was to add a new medicine and see what happened. So I could have added the new medicine and just saw how it went and like see what happened. But sometimes I could have just decided to take the safe route and just not seen what happened. But like I also, who knows what would have happened if I would have gotten better if I had changed the medicine. So it's like there's always going to be like the safe and the risky. So you have to decide what makes you more comfortable, and that's a way to look at it that might help you. Like, would you want to take the risk, would you feel bad if you didn't take the risk because you never know what happened if you took the risk? It like depends on the person. Like, I'm someone who, I don't like to just be like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I like to try it and see if what happens, and if it goes wrong, then that's okay. But if I never tried it, I'm gonna be constantly thinking like, ugh. The other thing, which I actually read about and also kind of realized that I was doing that with my neurologist when we were talking about this, is that sometimes if you don't like either option, you can come up with a third option. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's like you gotta choose this or this, girl. That's it. That's all you can do. But sometimes it's a scenario where you can come up with a third option. Or you can come up with multiple third options. Like taking the role and see what happens, or waiting for a couple months and seeing if it gets better before you get the medicine. Sometimes there's in between roads that you can take that can help you like feel better and just like Peach. Okay, so another thing that I read about was feeling relaxed and not obsessing about it. And that's probably the hardest thing for me when it comes to stuff like this, is not obsessing about the decision that I'm making. Because I am someone who, I regurgitate. That's like where my anxiety comes from a lot, is because I constantly think about things over and over and I obsess about them. I'm very obsessive when it comes to decisions, and it's like I don't know what to do with myself. So one of the things is to like write it down, make a pros and cons list. Write it down, do whatever you have to do, and then literally say to yourself, anytime you think of this, I'm gonna not think about this until I go to bed tonight. Or I'm going to wait until see if another pro or con comes up. Or I'm going to wait until I can talk to someone about it and see what they have to think about it. Because sometimes waiting is your best bet when it comes to stuff like that. You might never know what happens that might shift the way you feel or shift you towards one direction or the other. It definitely helps. I was going between the two decisions of not go on medicine or go on medicine, or new medicine or switching or whatever. I was going between it for a long time until I finally met with my neurologist and talked to him, and I was like, and the answer became a lot more clear. So it's like, I waited to make a decision. I waited to say to my parents, no, I don't want to change anything, or to say, yes, I do. I just kind of said, I don't know what I want, until I actually ended up meeting with him, and then that helped me a lot. So sometimes you might need to do some exploring to figure out what the answer to your decision is, because sometimes it's not always that clear, but it might become clear. Clarity is a really hard thing to get in the world. It's very hard in your own brain. So figuring that out is super awesome, and congrats if you did that, because that rocks. Anyway, I have a circus show to get to. Check out my Instagram story that it's on, I think. Hopefully will be on when I upload this, but I don't know. And I have tons of cool videos coming. So yeah, that was my all over the place decision making video.